we operate, we oversee the world's largest international financial center. Part and parcel of the way that system operates for cross-border flows of capital particularly, so foreign capital coming into the UK, being reinvested abroad, and vice versa. So not the bit of the banking sector that is ring-fenced for the domestic market, quite sensibly ring-fenced, but for that bit of the system. An integral part of how global financial centers work is to have, for those institutions that meet certain very high standards, them to be able to do some of their activity through a bank branch. Now, not all of their activity through a bank branch. So I'll give you an example. A large American firm like JP Morgan has both a branch and a subsidiary in London, and certain activities are allowed through the branch, certain activities are managed through the subsidiary, and that's the way the overall management. But we have a memorandum of understanding with the US authorities. We share information. We have joint supervisory visits. We understand the risks of that entity overall, and therefore we have the comfort. In circumstances, though, where if we didn't have that comfort post-Brexit with European institutions, we would require them to subsidiarize. Now, as we sit here today, as I said, there are around 4 trillion of assets here. A substantial proportion of those are of European banks operating in London. And for us we had to take a judgment. Do we take a glass half empty approach to the negotiations, including at a time when there's prospect of a transition arrangement? I know it's not finalized, but including at a time of that, and say, no, you have to subsidiarize now, and then unsubsidiarize in the future if there's an agreement. That's a tremendous amount of cost, disruption to the system, disruption to Europe. And we're in a position right now where, as a consequence of the system under which we're operating in Europe, where we do have line of sight to the risks, where we do have direct conversations with the supervisors, where we can catalyze actions if necessary to manage those risks, and we have. And again, on the understanding of how a transition or implementation period may work, is that that is likely to continue through that period of time. So now is not the time that one has to say, glass half empty, subsidiarize, we're never going to get a deal, et cetera.